Oh, I wish to God this review had been executed by Steam. Welcome to Control Z, a channel where you can learn that we all have an uncle in America. In the end, Babbage exclaims, I wish to God these calculations had been executed by Steam. Yeah, Steam helped me to iron this shirt, but it would have only made harm to my laptop. Such a device wasn't on Charles Babbage's mind. Well, not in this form. His machine weighed 4 tons and this laptop weighs about 2 kilograms. His invention could only add numbers, and this machine can run high definition YouTube video of cats, but still this is 8 years old piece of crap. But no one will remember me and my YouTube channel, while Charles Babbage is the history. He is in the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest inventors ever, and foremost, he is one of the heroes of the new Robert C. Martin new book called We Programmers, a chronicle of coders from Ada to AI. Who's Robert Martin? Who's Ada? What's AI? Since you should already know the answer to the last questions and you've probably heard about Uncle Bob or acronyms like Agile or Solid at least once, so yeah, he stands behind them all, especially behind Uncle Bob. Okay, so what or who is Ada? Ada is a statically typed, object-oriented high-level programming language. And this is not a lie. It's truly a language inspired by Pascal, but its name is a tribute to Ada Lovelace, widely known for being the first programmer. Martin rather leans towards giving the title back to Ada's boss, Charles Babbage, a great inventor who couldn't finish anything 100%, yet it was his machine Ada was working on. Maybe her name was widely remembered because she was the loudest person in the room, or perhaps because she was a woman, but Uncle Bob gives more credit to Charles. No, I know what you think. He's not a sexist. He gives a whole chapter to Grace Hopper, the first modern programmer, where you can feel his admiration to her. And what is more unexpected, he practically builds an altar for a woman who brought a spark to his life and kept the flame of his love for programming burning for decades. Judith Allen. The chapter about her is a kind of a personal memoir from Martin's school days. This woman traveled around the country teaching people about computers and programming using her ACP-18, for which Bob feels great sentiment. Few of you probably know that the word computer was first reserved for women who performed calculations on paper. The era of writing programs on punch cards was dominated by women programmers in terms of quantity. So, as you can see, the notion of coding as a male-dominated field is quite new. You can find out about these kinds of facts and many more during this time travel, where Robert Martin acts like a Christmas Carol ghost, dragging the reader through space and time to show him how things were. It makes you appreciate that struggling to write Python code without using nested loops is nothing compared to the problems the heroes of this book faced. Each chapter is dedicated to a very special person who had a profound impact on the development of programming. I will mention them all here because they deserve it. It goes more or less chronologically like this. First, the already mentioned Babbage. Second, Hilbert, Turing, and von Neumann, the first computer architect. 3. Grace Hopper, the first software engineer. John Backus, the guy responsible for Fortran, the first high-level language. Edgar Dijkstra, you know the guy from Dijkstra's algorithm. Martin actually considered him the first computer scientist. Nygaard and Dahl, 2 Norwegians, the guys who created Simula, the first object-oriented language. John Kemeny, the guy who made the first language intended for beginners, BASIC. The previously mentioned Judith Allen, I think she might have been Martin's first love. And this chapter is my favorite. Ken Thompson, Dennis Ritchie and Brian Kernighan. These guys helped shape software as we know today, along with Unix and the C programming language. Personally, I think there was something magical happening back then in Bell Lab and the entire AT&T. That place produced so many geniuses and revolutionary products that there must have been something to it. If you're interested in that period and place, I recommended the AT&T YouTube channel. The link is on the description below.
He accepted a job as the Netherlands' first programmer and started writing software for a computer that was never built.
The list leads to the final hero, a real mastermind, genius, visionary, semi-god with a solid spine of rules, Robert C. Martin himself. Yep, you heard that right. Uncle Bob first built a podium and put himself among the other rock stars of code. This chapter is obviously a couple of times longer than any before, but despite being autobiographical, it primarily focuses on his professional life. His career was, and still is, so rich that I think it might have even deserved a separate book. You can find out where the Uncle Bob nickname came from and even read about Martin's own life mistakes, which he openly calls stupid, so you can learn from them. The most precious thing is watching the world of programming change through Bob's eyes over the decades of his career. Although he claims that after the invention of Unix, C and OOP, there weren't many profound changes later on, except for the solid principles, of course. Of course, there have been some worthwhile refinements. I consider the solid principles to be in that category. I have already read some books showing computer history, but not focusing so much on programming or programmers themselves. We programmers doesn't even mention the inventor of the transistor. Do you know who he is? I didn't like the foreword by Michael Paulson, just can't resist mentioning him, and the afterword by Tim Gill. It was too gibberish, not well structured. Overall, I like the experience, and those over 400 pages flew by and I stacked them like mom's spaghetti. Reading this book gives you one important thing: context. Where programmers came from, what their current situation is, and where everything is going. This is crucial for people who work professionally in the field, as well as for wannabe programmers, especially in these uncertain times. I think we've all had enough web content bombarding us with dreadful prophecies of the end of coding. A year ago, the chief of NVIDIA addressed the audience at the World Government Summit in Dubai, saying, "It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program, and that the programming language is human. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. This is the miracle of artificial intelligence." I can argue with that, but you don't have to believe me, just believe the guy who worked in the industry for over 50 years. And no matter how smart AI and LCMs become, there will be always details that they can't manage, and that's where we come in.